All right, hey now, welcome to the Real Estate Rundown. I am Dustin DeHart with Keller Home Loans, and this is Shane Beal with Keller Williams, our new co-host.
Yep.
Shane, good to see you, my brother. I
be
appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on. Short notice, by the way.
Yeah.
Came on 24 hours, short notice, and I know that's not easy to do. Some people wouldn't do this with 3 weeks notice. So it's good to have you, my friend.
Yeah,
so
happy to be here.
Shane. Real estate agent, obviously, right?
Yep.
How long have you been a realtor?
5 years now.
5 years. All at Keller Williams, right?
Yes.
Same place.
Born and raised.
Born and raised in Vegas too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, as I am as well. Great to have you. You have actually been on this show before.
Yep.
Believe it or not,
Yep,
as
I
an
have
alter
been.
ego.
A couple times. Yeah.
Yes, you have, and he was probably the favorite part of the show for many people to watch. Negative Neil, Neil's counterpart is right here with us today. We're gonna have to find a new Negative Neil puppeteer to help us out.
Those
right?
are some big shoes to fill.
They were. So I miss Negative Neil. So yeah, we're gonna do some real estate little discussion, talk about what's going on with rates.
Okay.
We got the rundown coming up. You know how the show works.
Yes.
I haven't been here in a while, and something happened while I wasn't here. We actually won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was actually down there during the final game. I was supposed to go to the game.
Yeah, we were supposed to go together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Something happened. It didn't work out, but it ended up. I was down there in Toshiba Plaza when we won. That was nuts.
So did they have the game on a big screen or something?
It
Did
was
they really?
shoulder to shoulder,
Yeah.
insanity, and it was a great time.
Yeah, I was sitting on my couch.
Oh, okay. You were probably more comfortable than myself.
Yeah, well, we kind of got a head fake. We were going because of a friend of ours that gets good tickets. She's got a hookup, right?
Yeah.
And then I think that hookup figured, ooh, I'm selling these a little too cheap right now, and I could probably
I
sell
think
them
money's better.
for a lot more than they were giving us. So, but yeah, amazing, man. It's just being born and raised, dude. We have a Stanley Cup championship.
Yeah, it's incredible.
You know?
I mean, we haven't been much for sports teams in the
Yeah.
past, and now we have.
Well, we haven't. I mean, we did. I'm curious of what you think. Is this bigger than when UNLV won the national championship in 1990 for the town?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's. I remember that when I was a kid, but. I think this is much better. I mean, it's a championship. We just had an amazing team, and a lot of those players went on to be professionals after that.
Yeah, well, yes, we had an amazing team. Well, this town was much smaller back then, right? And again, we never in a million years thought we were ever going to get a sports team, right? So UNLV kind of was our sports team. I mean, how old were you in 1990?
And the Thunder, though. At 1990, I was 8.
Okay, so I was 16. I was a little older than you, but man, UNLV, dude, it was Gucci Row. Like, you could not get into a UNLV game, back then. And the fact that this team in a Big West Conference was beating every powerhouse's ass, right? And that, and if it wasn't for them losing by 1 point in the final game the next year, that pretty much they'd be considered probably the best college basketball team ever. And some still think they are, right?
Yeah, but that first year with the Knights, that was incredible.
Well, they
to
didn't
see.
win. That wasn't. Believe me, and I'm not saying one's way better than the other. I personally feel like the UNLV championship was just so crazy. I mean, the town went nuts.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Were you down
now
for
we
the
kind of
parade?
expect to win championships.
Were you down there for the parade?
For the Golden Knights parade?
Yeah.
I was not.
Yeah.
No. So I was on my couch again.
You don't like
watching it.
people?
Yeah, not really. Yeah, I don't like crowds.
I don't like crowds either. But I win.
But yeah, it is kind of crazy the fact that all these pundits told us sports would never work in this town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it is pretty amazing to see what has worked, right? It does help when we have the best owner in all of sports, who I feel which is Bill Foley, right? I mean, he came in, didn't want public money, said, I'll show you all these people that are going to sign up and become season ticket holders. And he did it. And not only do he do it, he literally took us to the Stanley Cup championship the first year, right? you know, and he's done some things. Like, he always wants to win. He's done some unpopular decisions, right?
Yeah.
But it worked out, right? But, like, can you imagine, like, we have a Stanley Cup where we have a Super Bowl coming up this year, right? The WNBA team won the championship,
They
right?
did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a lot of people know that. How dare you? And now, you know, we have Formula One coming too. Apparently, they say that's bigger than the Super Bowl. I'm not a race car driver.
Check the price on hotel rooms.
Yeah, I know, it's pretty crazy. So, and then now we got a baseball team coming, which is it's amazing, and you know, it's done such great things for our city, right? I mean, and indirectly it helps real estate. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I had tons of people telling me property values were going to skyrocket because of the Raiders.
That's funny because I was going to say the exact same thing. Yeah, and I go, no, they're not.
I don't know if that happened because of the Raiders, but you know, there's a lot of other factors.
Yeah, literally. And I saw like real estate agents telling people like, oh yeah, when the Raiders come, your property values are going up 25%. I'm like, what? But look, I mean, you know,
you don't think that's why that happened? It wasn't demand or the rates.
Yeah, probably does the low supply and rates at 2.5%. But yeah, it's crazy to see. You know, we do have the A's coming now. I mean, we went from the best owner in sports to now getting the worst owner in sports.
I don't know much about sports.
Yeah, but what I'll tell you about the A's is they don't like to spend money, right? Okay. And when you get used to a good player, don't, because then he gets traded, right?
I've seen Moneyball.
Yeah, look, they did, you know, they've been very competitive, you know, so we'll see. Hopefully they change some of their management stance, and now that they have the stadium they wanted and at the place they want to be, they'll spend a little more money.
Yeah.
And they have to do that here, right? Because this town, they will not, I mean, in the beginning, they will, but if you're not putting out a winning product, we're not going to it.
Yeah. And from what I understand, the traffic down there is already going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
And there's not much parking, so maybe that's what they're doing to offset that.
They haven't really figured out the whole parking shenanigans yet. But they had a better spot. They're like a bad real estate client, right? Like, oh, I want to buy that spot, right? Yeah. And let's put an offer in. And I'm like, ooh, I like this spot better, so rescind that. And like, you still don't have your pre-approval letter. Like, I'm working on it, you know. So they did get their pre-approval letter from the county, and you know, we gave them $390 billion. Jeez, could that would be it? Which sounds like a lot, but that's kind of the lowest that most cities have given baseball teams in a while.
Okay.
You know, and there's a lot of, you know, back and forth of whether we should be spending that money for another sports franchise, or should we be spending it to schools and stuff that we really need? I mean, what's your opinion?
I mean, I got kids, so I'd rather have them have better teachers, or you know, or the teachers get paid better. Yeah,
my brother's a teacher, but I don't have kids, and the A's are one of my favorite teams, so I'm all in now. But look, I do think, I mean, the theory behind it is, yes, we're spending this money, but it's going to generate X amount more that then we can return to schools and stuff. We'll see.
It's definitely beneficial. I think our city's growing up, and you know, we're becoming.
Dude, we're like, I mean, we're always one of the cool cities ever, right? And especially born and raised here, we've seen how this Vegas has gone.
It's night and day.
It's insane. You know, and where we're at now, I mean, we're one of the most coveted cities to come in the world, really.
Loving the traffic. It's awesome.
Yes. You know, but you say that, but it's not that bad.
It's not terrible, but it's a lot worse than what we're used to.
It is. You just got to know how to get through the traffic. Yeah. So, but it's been amazing to see. So, how about real estate? You know, speaking of like 6 months ago from today, you know, we were flat for a while, and then we started to pick up, and, you know, buyers were getting a lot of concessions back then with sellers, and now they're not getting so many concessions and kind of struggling. Sometimes they'd even get an offer accepted. I mean, Are you seeing, is that just because of the lower supply?
It's weird out there. Some properties are getting multiple offers. Some properties are just sitting. So if you are a seller, you kind of have to give a little bit to get a buyer, just because those rates are really taking people out.
Unless you really priced it like so competitive, right? And like you're going to get a float.
Which most people still aren't.
Right, right. But, you know, again, it's supply and demand, right? I mean, our supply is next to nothing right now. You know what I mean? Our demand is definitely gone up. It's still not akin to what we usually have, right? Yeah. So, you know, what's the narrative, at least I'm speaking to with buyers that are maybe a little on the fence is, yeah, rates are high right now. They're going to come down, right? So is it behoove you to wait for them to come down? Because when they do come down, more people are going to come into the market, right? And I don't see a bunch more supply coming. I mean, maybe. No. Some people will now list their property because the rates went down a little more, but I think it's going to take a big jump down, right? So the fact that you can set a price in now, right, which will likely be lower than next year, right, and, you know, not have to compete with multiple offers again, you know, and maybe get a chance of have a seller paying your closing costs, sounds a lot more smart than waiting, where if you do it now, when you jump in and wait, I'm just turning around and refinance you into that lower rate. You know what I mean? So, but, you know, people are freaked out. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's a saying right now, marry the house and date the rate.
Yeah.
You can get a buy down, which I think you're going to talk about a little bit.
Yeah.
But you can get a decent rate for now and see what happens in the future, and you can refi when the rates are expected to go down.
You can, yeah. In fact, I closed a deal on a friend of mine. He's been in the industry forever, title company, and he at first he went in all full offer price and got them to come down like, I don't know, $20,000, and I'm like, dude, go back up and get that $20,000 for closing costs.
Yeah.
And I showed him the math, and he did. And it's literally, you know, his going to have a 2-point lower rate the first year, which literally saves him like $800 or $900 a month, right? Then year two, like $600 a month. And I'm, dude, before we even do that, I'm going to refinance you. And that money's not going to just go away.
Yeah.
You can use that towards your refinance, right? So, you know, what's happening with rates right now, that we're kind of in that channel. It's been, you know, it's all about inflation, right? We've seen better inflation numbers, but stubbornly, there's been things like used car prices spiked up like 5%. Like that can't continue. Like I don't think. I sold my car and it like didn't feel like it spiked up last month when I did it, but you know, and then we had the debt ceiling crisis, right? We have the Fed still being ridiculous, but this is going to wrap. You know, these things are going to not continue to bring down rates soon, right? It's going to take a little time. In fact, the Mortgage Bankers Association, now look, predicting rates is like predicting the next 10 Super Bowl winners. It's not easy, right? Yeah. But, you know, they're pretty bullish. You know, they think we'll be in that 5.8% range towards the end of the year, right? Which I agree with. I was thinking it was going to be this summer, but because of these ancillary things that we've seen, it's not happening. But dude, like they think by the end of next year we'll be in the 4s.
That'll be great. I think if supply does not improve, we're gonna go nuts again.
Yeah, it's gonna be cray again, right? And yeah, so you know, I don't know. You know, I mean, it's the supply problem is not going away either. You know, we're gonna talk about new home builds in a little while, but yeah, you know, but look, you know, right now. You know, again, rates are, you know, a little high, but we just closed on a deal. What was it, 2 days ago? Or last Friday, right? Really cool couple, right? They're in 30 years old, actually, both of them, right? And they did it the right way. I mean, you don't have to save up 20% down, but that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And the fact that they did it so quickly, like that was $80,000, right? Yeah. You know, and they only make about $7,000 a month. Like that's a lot of money to save up to do this, right? And because of that, they were able to get, I think it was the $450,000 house, right? Beautiful house that you got them. And their payment's like $2,500 a month, right? Which is pretty reasonable, right? And again, like if the Mortgage Bankers Association is correct, their payment's going to go down $2,100 next year. You know what I mean? So again, that's the narrative that we're trying to portray to buyers that are out there right now. Look, you know, it sounds like it's tough right now. It's only going to get tougher.
Yeah.
And then you can be like our client, secure your home now with Shane, buy that dream house, and then believe me, I'm calling you when rates drop.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the way to do it. You can avoid mortgage insurance that way, but you can buy if you don't have that much money to put down.
100%. In fact, if you don't have the 3% down that's required or 3.5%, we have down payment assistance programs for you. All right, we're going to hit the rundown, dude.
Okay.
You haven't done this yet, so I'll explain what it is.
I'll see.
I may have stole this from a sports show that's been around for about 30 years or not. So this is quick, rapid-fire topics, okay? We're going to do these together, the first one, and then we'll split them up the next time, all right? Okay. So we've got 2 minutes, and the first one I picked was renovation loans,
all right.
Okay? Have you ever been a part of a renovation loan?
I have not yet. Yeah, I know about them, but I haven't done one.
They're not fun, right? Okay. And I used to run for the hills when someone would hit my desk and just refer them to our renovation department. But we look, they're needed right now, right? Especially because of such low supply, right? If we can find you that perfect house, but something's wrong with this or that, right? And we can add some renovation costs to the loan to make it your perfect house. Well, why not do it, right? So there's a few different programs. Right now, I actually have a contract that came in. It's for friends of mine that are buying in Oregon, and it's not a fixer-upper. It's a bad house, put it that way, and it needs about $100,000. So we're doing a Fannie Mae product for it, okay? So they're actually buying it for their son, so they're literally only putting 5% down. They got it at $450. We're going to add $100,000 in renovation costs, and when it's after appraised value, they think, what we expect is it to be around $650, right? So they're already going to have equity built in, right? Now, how we do this is they're now getting contractors to give bids for all this stuff, right? What they're going to do, then we order the appraisal with those bids, and the appraiser will go, well, here's the value right now, right? And then once all of this is done, here will be the after improved value, right? And if it meets what we think it's going to, or it doesn't even have to be that high, then we're off to the races, right? And then we go into underwriting and closing, and then the contractors get their money after closing, and then they start the reno costs.
Awesome.
Yep. All right, I'm running out of time. See? All right, new home builds. All right, so this is kind of what I want you to talk about. Okay. Look, as a lender, and let's go to the next slide if we can. Before COVID, I was telling buying a new home wasn't always the best deal, right? Like even during COVID, because the prices were way higher, right?
Yeah.
And builders weren't given a lot of concessions. Yeah. Has that changed?
For sure. They bought up a lot of money. The builders did to offer lower rates to any clients that want to buy a new house. So you kind of are seeing some in the low fives right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of become a thing that new builds are kind of not the only game in town, but they are very beneficial. There's products like D.R. Horton where they just they don't allow you to select your options. They just build it, and it's kind of a quick move-in ready home. So you could get a house through them for
standing inventory.
In a month or two.
Yeah. I'm actually doing a couple of those, but like it just depends on the builder.
Yeah.
Which incentives they're going to give you. Pull up that slide again for me, Rick. The last one. So this was kind of interesting. So you see the delta there back in the early before like 15, 16. How high the prices were at Red versus the resale, right?
Yeah.
And you can see that it has continually come down, and look where we're at now. Like
it's
literally,
really
it's almost
similar.
as affordable to buy a brand new house.
Yeah.
And it is if they're going to give you some rate that you can't get anywhere else.
True story.
It's a brand new house, and it sucks for me, but I get it. I mean, this isn't going away until rates come down a little more.
New homes typically are still a little bit more than resale, and you can get those buy downs on resale. So you can still get a deal out there with a resale product, but new homes are new homes.
Yeah,
it's like a new car.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So Vegas aliens. I told you this story. So recently I was watching Channel 8 News, and they played this clip of somebody that called 911 and said, there is a craft that landed in my backyard, and there's like some 10-foot being that's looking at me, right? And then they literally showed a police officer was down the street doing a traffic stop, and on his body cam there was some green thing that just like looked like it crashed. It was crazy, right? And then they've showed the police officers pretty freaked out when they went to the house, right? I literally took an application on a police officer last week, and I was just kind of joking, like, what's up with the aliens? And like his face, like, dude, I didn't ever believe in that stuff before. I was there, and he told me something crashed, because right when that 911 call happened, there was like 10 Fed cars, like the black SUVs, swarmed the place, would not let anybody in. He's like, I've never seen that before. Yeah. Do you believe in aliens yet?
Yeah. Here's where I come off as one of those guys. But I was chased as a kid by a craft. I used to live up in Piccoli Ranch when there was nothing but desert beyond that. And when I was a kid, I was chased by one. Triangular UFO. You can Google the image. That's exactly what chased me. Yeah. And I wasn't alone. My brother was with me. So we both still talk about this story. I'm just
pissed I've never seen one yet. Now look, it's coming out. Like there's whistleblowers that are high up in the military saying we've got 12 crafts. I mean, it is something's about to get released.
They went really fast with that.
Yeah, you thought Las Vegas aliens. You thought I was talking about a different alien at first, didn't you? No? Okay, come on. How dare you? So now, look, if the actual first spaceship lands here, how will that do to real estate prices? I'm just joking. We got to go to the next one. Movies. I know you're a movie buff.
Yes.
I used to be. I couldn't wait for the next, like, it's always like one great movie after another. Yeah. And not for me anymore. Like, I think in 4 years I've been to one movie, and that was Top Gun, which was amazing. But I haven't been since.
Episode 4 Star Wars with Tom Cruise. Because that's essentially the plot of the movie.
Yeah, hey, it worked for me.
They fly through the Death Star trenches and blow up the thing.
Yeah.
It's all superheroes these days. I mean, when I was a kid, all I wanted them to do was make superhero movies because that's what I was into. Yeah. And now that's all they do.
Yes.
The Flash, I have 2 boys, so they're very, nerdy, just like their dad. So we went and saw the Flash. Yeah, not at all. The Flash, some of the CG in it is awful.
Yeah.
The story was pretty good, and then Hollywood's selling nostalgia right now.
Yeah.
So you had the Michael Keaton Batman in it, so it was all right. I think the best movie I've seen in years is definitely Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's extremely weird, but it's a great movie. It's a great movie. Yeah. I think it swept the Oscars. So
did it?
I think it got best picture. I might be mistaken. I don't really watch the Oscars much these days, but
unless some slapping's going around or something.
Oh yeah,
that was good.
But yeah, that. What else has come out recently? Everything is hitting streaming now really quick. So it's almost like incentivizing people just to wait.
Yeah.
Because in a month, you can just watch it from the comfort of your living room.
You can, and it seems like the Netflix movies are kind of lame. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm a Quentin Tarantino guy. I love his movies. He says he's only got one more left, and he's sick of the movie industry. So
I hope it's Kill Bill 3.
Yeah. Oh, no, Pulp Fiction 2 is what I'm going for. So, all right, what do we got here? Forbearances. Okay. So there's been a lot of talk in our industry, with some agents saying there's some big forbearance crisis that's coming down the pipeline, and that's why there's no listings and this and that. So look, I mean, it doesn't look like a whole lot of forbearances anymore, right? So first of all, forbearance will let you, if the servicer will allow, to forego on your payments for a certain amount of time, right? Now, obviously, the big spike up was during COVID, where everybody was out of work and it was needed. And some people elected to do it and didn't need to, but a lot of them were just thrown in it and didn't do it and then got out of it. But most actually made their payments during it. You know what I mean?
Doesn't that just tack it on to the back end of the loan and they make more interest in the long run?
It can't. Yes, it depends on the investor, but essentially that's what it is. But here's some of the stats. Like, first of all, 96% of homeowners have caught up on their mortgage payments. Doesn't sound like a big crisis. there is right now Ginnie Mae, which is Fannie or FHA, government loans, VA, that went down 1.1% to 1.05% last month, right? And then Fannie and Freddie went from 0.24% to 0.23%. So that's not staggering numbers there, right? Like there's not even a percent of loans that are in Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's books that are in forbearance.
And just to put things in perspective, here in the Valley, we have about almost 300,000 homes that are owned outright.
Correct. Right. So literally, I just don't understand what the doom and gloom is, but maybe that's just some sales pitch that I'm still trying to wrap my head around how that gets them to, you know what I mean, how it drives business, but who knows?
I mean, if you find yourself in that kind of situation, you definitely want to reach out to somebody, because I've seen banks eat up the equity really quick. We need to jump to the
we're
next
good.
one,
So
right?
if they have equity, we got one more. Sorry, May market update. So what do you think about this? We sold 2316, right? That's up. Our median sales price, I thought it was like 445.
It is how I run the numbers.
Yeah.
I look at comp only sold, so I'm not. These are straight from LVR. So it's about 445, and then you have, as you can see, the absorption rate, the effective availability is only 1.6 months. So that means if no new listings came on the market in a month and a half. Yeah. So, that's why.
And 0.6 are probably overpriced anyways, right?
Yeah. This is the third month of appreciation we've had too. So,
kind of feel like flat the first year. It's not like we went down. So that proverbial crash. We were kind of just flat, and then we went up, right? Yeah. So
3 months is a trend, so it seems like we have bottomed out, and we'll know more here in a couple days when the numbers change. But
see, these were from last month, but we got the new numbers coming up next week. My guess is, I don't know about your guess, but I think we go up another 5, maybe 10 grand in median sales price. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we're going to be slowly appreciating. There's just demand's too high, so I don't. If you're waiting for prices to crash, you might be waiting for a while, and if you're waiting for rates to come down. Well,
that's the point. Now, if you wait for that rate to come down, now all of a sudden the median sales price is $490. Dude, your payment's higher.
Yeah.
Hate to break it to you. You know what I mean? So again, we can't predict anything, right? But
I had to send my crystal ball back for manufactured.
Yeah, it's in the shop still.
Yeah, it still is.
My rate prediction, because I failed at it, is rates next month or tomorrow will either go up, they'll go down, or they will stay the same.
Okay.
Right? And that's
probably
holding true for me too. And I'm doing well with that. But yeah, it's interesting to see everybody's, oh my God, there's it's gonna be worse than the mortgage meltdown crash. And look, it's just simple. It's simple supply and demand, and none of those dynamics besides the unemployment going through the roof, but that's out of the picture now, or in place right now.
Yeah,
we have equity. That's the point, right?
And if you're banking on doom and gloom, we're all in the same boat. So it's not going to be pretty if something like that.
You have to be careful who you're getting your information from, right? Yeah. If you're not getting it from a podcast, right?
100%.
With a couple ball guys, I don't know what you're like, dude. You're probably getting that. No, it's
how
true.
we met, right?
But yeah, you can't get all of this doom and gloom. You have to hear real numbers.
Yeah.
Look, I know people that have been waiting, right? And then they've waited themselves out of hundreds of thousands of dollars in appreciation.
I know people like that as well.
Right? It's this reason why. And then in COVID hit, believe me, granted, I thought the market was going to crash too, right?
Yeah, I was screaming last year, get on this train while you can, or it's going to leave you behind, and it has done that for a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, the market needed to come down.
Yeah.
It was on a railroad train, going way up, way too fast, and way too crazy. We got a correction, probably needed that, God willing, we'll see what's going to happen here in the next 12 months, right?
Yeah, I said that 2 years ago, not last year. Yeah. I wasn't saying that last year. I'm still in my COVID time.
Maybe last year in January, and then an abort mission by May, right? So, Dude, not bad,
Yeah,
right?
all right.
That was a pretty good one. First one under the books,
Good,
right?
good.
It can only go downhill after this, or whatever I'm trying to say. So, Shane, how do they get a hold of you, my friend? Here's your information.
Yeah, you can text or call me on my cell phone. You can follow me on social media at BEALL Estate. That is the same, my website there. Yeah, if you have any questions at all, you can always reach out to myself or Dustin anytime.
There you go, my friend. A glamour shot there. So,
Oh, yeah.
And there, my information's there. You guys know how to get a hold of me. I look irritated, don't I?
We both get our.
Like, can you take the picture already? All right, it's been a great show, Shane. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I'll see you next week, man. Thanks, guys.
Right.